Hi guys, it's Ray here from Man City Fan Chat. A mini news update for you today. We're going to talk about Ben Mendy and his injury status update, Tosin Adarabioyo and what's going to happen to this kid next. Taylor Richards, what's already happened to this kid, he's been sold. We're going to talk about a keeper that we bought earlier on called Zack Steffen. And finally, Leonardo Bonucci. His name gets mentioned once again. So let's talk about Ben Mendy. Now, Ben Mendy, he's played, I think, 34 games for City in 2 seasons. It's not very much at all. He's got injury problems. He's a fantastic talent when he's on the pitch. He gives us great options at left back, where he bombs forward, puts in unbelievably dangerous crosses that curl away from a keeper, always into the danger zone. He got, was it 5 league assists last season in not many more games than 5 league starts at the beginning of the season. He's a top talent, but his problem is injury. Now, he's been injured mostly for the last 2 seasons, and as I said, only played 34 games for City in 2 seasons. So he's injured at the moment. He hasn't gone on the tour to China and Japan, and he stayed over in Spain, I think in Barcelona, for a recovery. Now, apparently he's come out and made it known that he's not going to be fit for the start of the season, and he's looking at coming back around about sometime in September. Not exactly sure when. He might be targeting the international break to come back after the international break, which will be mid-September. Now, this could just be another saga like Spurs' new home ground, because that just got delayed and delayed and delayed. They were talking about international break as well last season, and I don't think they moved into their new stadium till a few games before the end of the season. Now I'm hoping for his sake that Mendy isn't going to come back that late, and I hope he's fit by September. But obviously we're going to be very cautious about him and his injuries, because I think this is his last chance saloon for Ben Mendy, because you can't have a player at such an important position injured and out for so long. That's possibly one of the reasons we've got Angelino back, because we couldn't have really gone into the season with just Zinchenko as our left back, Mendy injured, and not sure about what Danilo was going to do. Now, if Danilo leaves, what are we going to do then? If we'd only had Zinchenko. Now that we got Angelino back, we've seen that Delph's moved on, because there's no place for him here now. But we're going to see what happens with Mendy. As I said, good luck to the kid. He has to get himself sorted. He has to get himself fit. Otherwise, I don't see a future at City beyond this coming season. Next, we'll talk about Zack Steffen. Let's talk about Zack Steffen, this goalkeeper, young keeper we got from, I think, Columbus Crew in MLS. It's no big secret. I mean, it's been, I think, probably known for several weeks now that his most likely destination was to go out on loan at Fortuna Dusseldorf in Germany. And yesterday, I think that's what was confirmed. He's going to Fortuna Dusseldorf in Germany. That's about it. Next on the list is Tosin Adarabioyo. Let's just call him Tosin. It's a lot easier all round. Now, Tosin is a young kid, centre-back. He was out on loan last season at West Brom. I think he did pretty decent for West Brom, but you've got to remember where he was playing. West Brom were in the Championship. They didn't get promotion. They did pretty well overall for the season. Was it Darren Moore as a manager for most of the season until they sacked him near the end. And I think Tosin did. I think he did all right. It was a decent loan spell. He's got good experience from that. He's going to come on leaps and bounds. But will that get him anywhere near City? I don't think so. And the rumour is at the moment that he's going to be going to Blackburn on loan for next season. Well, Blackburn are really interested in him, but once again, that's another Championship side. I suspect at best mid-table Championship side. At least West Brom were fighting for promotion, and Tosin would have experienced some high-level games last season, important games, as they fought for unsuccessfully for promotion. Blackburn, it's another one of these. I don't think it's a great loan. He might do really well. I still think it'd be very interesting to see what he could do playing with better players. And sometimes you get a decent player, but he's playing with not so good players, and he comes across as looking not brilliant. But when you put them with much better players, they can come across as looking quite decent. I mean, look at Zinchenko, playing with much better players. He managed to play at left back. Look at Delph, playing around a much better team. If you're having 65-70% of the ball, you're unlikely to have that many attacks against you, and a defender can get away with not being as good as maybe you'd really want him to be. And I think that's what happened with Zinchenko and Delph. Could Tosin be another one that playing amongst really good top players, he could make it? To be honest, if he's not even on the tour, I don't see how he can make it. We've got 17-year-old Taylor Howard-Bellis there on tour. We've got Eric Garcia, who would have gone on tour, but he's playing internationally for the under-20s or under-21s in Spain. So I think those two are well ahead of Tosin, and that makes Tosin about 6th on the list. If Otamendi stays, so you'll have Otamendi, you'll have Emerick Laporte, you'll have John Stones, Eric Garcia, Taylor Howard-Bellis, and possibly Fernandinho playing some games at centre-back. There's no future for Tosin at City. I think that's quite evident. And if he goes on loan to Blackburn, good luck to him, but I suspect he'll be sold sooner rather than later, and we'll just get cash in on him. I have no idea what he's worth, but I would suspect a decent level Championship player. City should be asking I'd be asking for 10 million quid. And with a buyback clause, you never know. I mean, look at Tyrone Mings, 23, 26 million? That's a lot of money. I'm not sure how good the player really is. So I wouldn't sell Tosin on the cheap. Absolutely no way. The next thing on the agenda is Taylor Richards. Now, Taylor Richards is, I think, off the top of my head, 18 years old. He's been at City for 4 years. He's obviously a kid. He plays an attacking midfield. He's never featured for City. I think he was on the bench for the Carabao Cup semi-final last year against Burton, the away leg. We'd already won 9-0 in the first leg, so it didn't really matter, but he didn't get on the pitch. But I think he's, from what City have said on the website, he's got some talent, but he's got no future at City. As an attacking midfielder, where can he play? We've got Phil Foden coming through. We've already got a whole host of attacking midfielders right now with David Silva, with Ilkay Gundogan can play attacking midfield, Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, and the aforementioned Foden. There's 5 for you straight away, and I'm sure we've got other people coming through who are better than better than Taylor Richards. I get these names mixed up. So he's been sold. He's been sold to Brighton. Now, we weren't sure what the fee was, but I read yesterday in one of the Brighton newspapers or reports that the fee was rumoured to be £2.5 million. Now, as far as City are concerned, that's probably £2.5 million worth of profit for this kid. And I've said many times, this is the way City will do business and continue to do business. We'll get a whole host of young talent in. If they can make it through the system, we'll end up with someone like Phil Foden. If they can nearly make it through the system, we'll end up with someone like Brahim Diaz, who can sell on for about 15 million quid. Someone like Angus Gunn, we send out on loan and sold him to Southampton for between 12 and 15 million quid. Someone like Enis Unal, who never even stepped foot in Manchester, I don't believe, not in an official capacity, and we sold him for about 8 or 10 million pounds profit. That's the kind of thing we're doing. That's the way we're doing business. Taylor Richards is probably just another one of those, dare I say it, numbers. We buy these kids, we put them through the system. If they're good enough, they'll come through, and if they're nearly good enough, they'll be sent out on loan and sold, and we'll make money. And if we keep doing this, I think last season we brought in almost £50 million in terms of player sales. The biggest one I think was Angus Gunn for between 12 and 15 million quid, and we also loan these players out and we get a loan fee. So one of the numbers I'd heard mentioned in the past was between 300,000 and 450,000 euros. So if we're loaning players out for 300,000-400,000 euros, and we, for argument's sake, loan a dozen out for a season, we don't pay their wages, and we might get £3 or £4 million in, and that's extra money in the kitty for City, and then we sell him on. Look at Pablo Mari. We bought him for about £225,000. We loaned him out for I think 2 or 3 seasons, at least a couple of seasons, and then we just sold him for 1.3 million euros, which is about, let's say, for argument's sake, 1.1 million pounds. We've made on this kid between £1 and £1.5 million profit over 3 or 4 years. Okay, you can say on a turnover of about £500 million, that's nothing. Yeah, it's about 2% of turnover. But you do that 5 or 6 times, and suddenly you're getting somewhere in the region of 7, 8, 10 million pounds. Now that starts to become significant very, very quickly. It's the way City do it, and good luck to Taylor Richards. I hope he does well at Brighton. I hope he can come through, and I hope City have got their buyback and selling clauses as they seem to be doing all the time. Last one on the list for today is Leonardo Bonucci. Now, he's been linked with City before. It's said that Pep really likes Leonardo Bonucci, and he's a great player. I think he's a fantastic centre-back. But playing at Juventus. Now Juventus have gone out and splashed the cash on Matthijs de Ligt. They've got Chiellini, Matthijs de Ligt and Bonucci. There are rumours once again linking us with Bonucci and saying that he will be surplus to requirements and he might be sold, and City are interested in him because we need this supposedly this extra centre back. Now, my feeling on Bonucci is I've said it many times, the guy's 32 years old already. Is it 32? Oh, is he even 33? He's too old in my book. If he doesn't settle, I mean, he went to Milan the season before last, and he stayed for one season for whatever the reasons were. He only managed to stay for one season before moving back. Now, if he comes to City at 32, 33 years old, and it takes him a year to settle, you're getting towards your mid-30s, mate. For me, it's too old. Okay. Now, when he went back to Juventus, I think they paid 35 million euros for him. So I can't believe they're going to let him go on the cheap. So we're going to probably have to pay a fair bit of money for a guy who's already, in my book, too old, and who'd want a decent wage and a decent contract. I think he's on still a 3 or 4 year contract at Juventus. So all the signs are wrong to me. Yes, he might have followed people on Instagram and might have followed City players or whatever. It means nothing to me. For me, he's the wrong kind of player to buy. I think he's had his chance a couple of years ago. He didn't take it. City were really interested in him. He went out for an easy option going to Milan. So I don't want him at City. And I honestly think we've got what we need now. We've got, as I said, those 3 centre-backs that are our stalwarts in Mendy, John Stones and Emerick Laporte, and then we'll have these other players coming through, the kids, Eric Garcia, and maybe Fernandinho playing at the back. I don't know what this tourist is doing. Fernandinho playing at the back, and Taylor Howard-Bellis. So I think we're well covered at centre-back. If we get anybody, I'd go for a younger player like Nathan Ake, or someone who's got experience in the Premier League and is a bargain price, an older player like Toby Alderweireld at 25 million for a 30-year-old. I'd be happy with that. Or 40 million for Nathan Ake for, 24 years old? I'd be happy with that as well. Bonucci, he doesn't tick enough boxes for me, and I don't think he's worth us getting. Guys, if you haven't already subscribed to our new YouTube channel, we've been going 6 weeks, not even 6 weeks yet. We've got over 700 subscribers. Absolutely fantastic ride so far. Lots of ups. We're having a great time, especially with the live streams. The 9 o'clock UK time live stream, which is a gentle chat, mostly focused on City, but we talk about other general football too. We get fans from all sorts of clubs, from Liverpool, Sheffield United, Southampton, all over the shop, international teams as well. And it's a gentle chat. We talk other sports as well. We like talking cricket, motor racing, boxing, whatever's going at the time, whatever is in the news. We have a chat about it in a friendly, bit of banter, friendly way, but without overstepping the mark. And we talk a little bit about life as well. To some people, I think they come on just to talk about life, and hey. And everybody's welcome, whatever your colour, your creed, your religion, wherever you are in the world, however old or young you are, whichever football team you support, whichever other sport you like, you're all welcome. Just get on board, hit that subscribe button for this channel, hit the bell icon as well, so that you're notified as soon as new videos come out and as soon as we go on live. See you around, Blues.